Yo, what's going on, guys? PX Cam joining back in with a brand new video. We are here for a brand new week of daily races as we are at my favorite track of Fuji International Speedway. If you guys have been around the channel long enough, you know that Group 2, Fuji International Speedway, medium and hard tires. Mwah! Perfect combination for racing as we are starting in fourth place with a 130.8 on our lap time. So we're gonna see what we can do here as we have 3 cars ahead of us that we have to get around to try to get the win, as again we are using the medium and the hard compounds, but the hards are gonna be the requirements. So that's gonna be the strategy for us, is to run the mediums from lap number 1 all the way until lap number 5 or 6 and then switch off from the hards. I know that's not the fastest strategy. I know some of you guys are gonna write in the comments, that's not the fastest strategy, PX Cam, you have to start on the hards. It was my first race, so I just decided to try out the mediums into the hard strategy. So we're gonna see what we can do here, and hopefully we can come out with a podium at least, or if not, at least a win, as like I said, I really enjoy this combination when it comes to daily races. So before we jump into the race, if you guys really enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video, as it really helps out the channel when you guys do so. Anyways, that's not promoting myself. Let's jump straight into the race. When jumping into the race, everybody decided to pick the Nissan except for that one guy. You always have to have that one guy that decides to pick a different car, but other than that, everyone's running the Nissan, as that was the fastest car on this race. As we get our 3, 2, 1, and we are a go. So coming to the start-finish line, we have the Colombian and the 2 Americans ahead of us, and we have a Brazilian in 5th place. So judging by the track record that we've had on this track in Brazilian, I'm just kind of keeping an eye on him, trying to brake as late as we can so that we can avoid making sure we don't get hit. But in doing so, we almost run into the back of the Colombian, and everybody overshoots the corner, but fortunately we were able to get through it safely, and no one gets taken out on the first corner on the first lap. So going into turn number 3 here, as we're staying right behind the Colombian, we run very wide coming out of that corner, and you can see the American is now starting to get challenged by the Colombians. He's switching on the outside, trying to make a cut back into the inside. They're going side by side now as they're heading into turn number 6. Heading to the left-hander of turn number 6, we brake very early as we almost made contact with the Colombian, as he makes another switchback on the American. And this is what we like to see, side-by-side racing ahead of us, because the more that they do that, the more they're going to wear out their tires, and the better chance we're going to be able to get around them as the laps wind down. So coming to this right-hander, we actually get hit out, and it's the other Colombian that hits us out, and we lose 2 positions because of that, as we make a little bit of contact with the Brazilian. Luckily, the Brazilian is able to get around us cleanly, and he actually takes out the Colombian and sends him into the shadows realm. And we're able to get 2 positions because of that. As we come into the replay, see exactly what happened. Colombian just decides to take us out, pushes us out of the way, gets his spot, and then you can see the Brazilian decides to be a vigilante, takes matters into his own hands, and heads into his right-hander, absolutely takes out the Colombian. And thank you very much to the Brazilian, because he did the God's work, and he was able to punch out that guy and get us back into 4th place as we now jump into lap number 2. So coming to lap number 2, still right behind the American and the Colombians, you can see the other American is starting to pull away from all 3 of us now. We're getting a little bit loose as we come out of that left-hander, and that cost us a little bit of time, as it was, again, my first time racing these cars in a while. So I started to realize when I come out of that corner that I have to keep it off of 1st gear, shift it into 2nd gear, because if I don't do that, then I run the risk of accidentally spinning out as we jump up a little further into the race now on lap number 3. So heading to turn number 1, again, the American and the Colombian are just fighting with each other, as they're just, again, slowing each other down, wearing each other's tires out. So it's good for us, but we just have to actually catch up to them now, as we did lose a lot of time because of the first lap incident. And luckily we're starting to pull a little bit of the gap away from them, and get a little bit closer now as we're heading to turn number 5 and 6. Going into turn number 6, you actually see that 2nd place gets a ½ a second penalty, and that is something that you do not want to have here at Fuji, because where the penalty zone is at, it is not a ½ a second penalty. When you have to serve your penalty, no matter what type of penalty you get, it's going to add an additional second, because the straightaway is just so long and the penalty zone is right in the beginning. It just ruins your entire momentum, and you actually end up losing more time than what you're actually planning to was supposed to be. So we're staying right behind 3rd and 2nd places. We got very close to them heading to turn number 10, and you can see now that we are almost on the back bumper of the American as we're heading now out of the final corner, lead us into the penalty zone. You're gonna see right here how much the penalty actually affects these cars. As you can see, he had to serve his ½ a second penalty, but that's gonna kill him on the straightaway as we're just pulling away from him now, getting onto the slipstream of the Colombian. As we fast forward here into turn number 1, you can see how much of a gap we were able to get from us to 4th place as we try to break as late as we can and get as close as we can to the Colombian. So coming out of turn number 1, going into turn number 2 and 3, we were able to close the gap a little bit, but he got a really good exit right ahead of us, and now he's pulling away a little bit, but we're able to use the pace of the medium tires, because I think he's on the hard tires. If he's on the hard tires, that's going to be beneficial for us, as we do only have about 5 or 6 laps of lifespan with these mediums. But you can see right behind us, the American comes into the pits. It's going to switch off his hard tires and switch them off to the mediums, and we're going to stay out on the racetrack as we get a really good slipstream on the Colombian. We shift onto the inside. He tries to defend his position. He does a beautiful job in doing so, because we had to cut back to the outside, and unfortunately we weren't unable to get 2nd place, but we're still right behind him. So we're going to see if we can try to make a move on him coming into turn number 5 or 6 as we're heading to turn number 3. So on to turn number 4, staying right behind him. We're just following him on the slipstream, as we're going to look for a gap here and see if he runs a little bit to the inside coming to turn number 6. He does. We shoot the gap onto the inside, make a little bit of contact, and we're able to get the position there. A little sloppy on the overtake, but we were able to get the move done. As we go into the replay, you can see he gives us the spot on the inside, just enough of a gap. We break as late as we can, and you can see we go side by side. He tries to come in on us, and he makes contact with us, but we were able to at least hold off our 2nd place as we're now heading to turn number 10. But coming to turn number 10, the battle's still not over as we're heading into this corner. Try to break as late as we can, defend our inside position. You can see he tries to get a good cutback, and we're able to hold him off here, but we get a really bad exit as we did not learn our lesson on the 2nd corner, or on the 2nd lap, and we accidentally lose the back end. And you can see the Colombians able to get around us easily coming into that corner as we now head into turn number 15 and into turn number 16. So coming into turn number 16, we're getting a really good run coming out of that corner, and we're staying right behind the Colombian as we head into the final corner here, staying on his back bumper. We're going to see what he does here, as if he goes into the pit stop, we're going to have to react. If not, we're going to try to do undercut and go into the pit stop, as we're staying right behind him here. But unfortunately, he doesn't go into the pit stop. We don't go into the pit stop. We're going to use this slipstream and try to get around him on the inside. We're going side by side now, heading to turn number 1. Going to turn number 1, we break as late as we can as we stay onto the inside, make a little bit of contact again with the Colombians. That's the 2nd time we made contact with him. So now I'm starting to feel like a rammer here on this race as we jump into the replay. Going to the replay, you see he gives us a spot on the inside. Just make a little bit of contact, and we're able to make the overtake there, as it kind of looked like we went up and he went down a little bit. So just both of us fighting for the same position, but we get the overtake done, and we are now promoted into 2nd place and setting our sights on 1st place, as I believe we're going to come into the pit stop this lap. As you can see, we're getting very, very loose coming out of that corner. So coming to the 3rd sector on the final corner, we come out in 2nd place with at least almost a 2nd gap behind the Colombian. As you can see, 1st place comes into the pit, so we're going to react to that, come into the pit, shift down to the inside, and switch off our mediums to the hards, as 1st place was on the hards, and he's going to switch off to the mediums. But the Colombian behind us was on the hards, and he switches off to the mediums. So this is going to be a very interesting dash to the finish as we come into turn number 1. Out of the pits, we actually miss our braking zone, and we send that guy straight into the Shadow Realm as we get the Super GT approval to a one-way ticket to the Shadow Realm. You can see exactly what happened on the replay, as we just missed our braking point, accidentally punt out the American, and now we are back in 2nd place with the hard tires. So coming into turn number 3, you can see the Colombian's right behind us. He's just closing the gap on us, as he is on the fresh new mediums, and we're going to do everything we can to try to defend our position, because we have the harder compound, so it is going to be slower for us on these corners. But we're going to use the pace as best as we can to try to stay ahead of him and use all the defending tricks in the books. As you can see, he's trying to take a look onto the inside coming to turn number 6, and we are able to hold our position here as we're just keeping onto the inside heading into turn number 10 now. So jumping into turn number 10, we're staying on the inside as we're going to try to defend our position, but you can see he goes even more into the inside, takes a look, we give him a little bit of room there, and we are now going side by side as we come out of turn number 11 into turn number 12, and he's able to make the overtake on us, as we do get a bad exit coming out of turn number 12 and have to set our sights back on trying to regain 2nd place as we jump up a little further into the race. Now as we jump into lap number 12, the Colombian actually got a penalty, so we're going to see if we can try to close the gap with that penalty. As you can see, we're going into the penalty zone now. He has to serve his penalty. We're closing the gap ever so slightly, but unfortunately we were just too far back to do anything about that and take advantage of that mistake that he did. and we're gonna have to come out on the final corner heading into lap number 10. You can see how much we were able to close the gap, as he was about almost 3 seconds ahead of us, as we were able to close the gap to about 2 seconds. But again, it was just a little too late to take advantage of these hard tires compared to his medium, and you can see that he's able to pull away from us now as we're heading into the final parts of the lap. So jumping into turn number 15, again, just running our lines, making sure that we make no mistakes to avoid losing our podium. We're gonna come out of the final corner here, go onto the straightaway for the final time on lap number 13, and finish this race in 3rd place with a podium. Again, a very sloppy race. We made contact with a lot of cars, accidentally sent one to the shadow realm. Really sorry about that, as I did apologize to him after the race. And again, at least we were able to come out with a 3rd place finish, as I just been loving this week's daily races, as we have Group B, or not Group B, but Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4 all in this week at really good tracks, which are Laguna Seca, Nürburgring GP, and my favorite, Fuji International Speedway. So again, 3rd place, we get a clean race pass for a star. So not sure exactly how we got the clean race, as we did, punch someone out and become a rammer ourselves. But again, coming to the end of the race, or after the race, I talked to the guy and just made sure that everything was cool with us, and he said everything was fine. So again, felt very bad afterwards, but I mean, knowing that he was okay with everything made me a little bit better about the situation. So we're gonna just go into the next race and just avoid making that type of mistakes, as this again was our first race of the week, so was just a little rusty when it came down to racing on this track with these cars. But I hope you guys found this video entertaining. If you guys did, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video, as it really helps the channel when you guys do so. And again, if you guys want to check out more, I hope to see you guys on the next one. Peace out.